You know poetry dropping when the pen clicks, and poets get it popping with the pen click. You're now rocking with Kuya David, the prime poetry prime minister. I'm here with my brother Daniel Hees, the chubby fat god, and today we are blessed with the magnanimous presence of the critically acclaimed writer, poet, director, father, all-around cowboy. You know what it is because he's so official, even his bootlegs get royalties, you know what I mean? We have Alex Alpharaoh in the building. Let's get it.
Can you spare some change? Not decayed enough to be dead, okay enough to be led out the hospital bed in a semi-fetal pose, being strolled out in a wheelchair one size too small, which I was asked to get up from once they discovered that my limited Medi-Cal benefit didn't fully cover me at County USC. I could use some change. I told them I was a veteran. Thanks for serving was the rhetoric. As I was given a box of clean needles but no bill of clean health, told my diabetes is uncontrolled, the chronic kidney disease is taking toll, malnourishment from strolls to the dollar menu items of fast food fine dining, charge it to my EBT. Do you need that change? I tried signing up for affordable health care at the health fair, didn't qualify for welfare when I had that AIDS scare, but I receive SSI. Trust me, it's not enough to get me by, especially since I can't find a decent 9 to 5, although I've tried but I get denied because a P.O. box on the address line means I probably sleep outside. Do you know of change? I haven't seen a check in months. I tried opening a bank account, but I didn't have identification, lacked the proper documentation, was missing information on the application. Each question I skipped killed a bit more of my motivation while increasing my hesitation. Ran out of anxiety medication with no more refills. Do you need that change? Regretted coming inside the bank because I was rudely asked by security, who was told by the management, who was cued by customer sentiment, that I was to leave my cart across the street. So much for setting up direct deposit. Do you save your change? As I leave, I'm fined by Officer Swine. As I leave, I'm fined by Officer Swine. As I leave, I'm fined by Officer Swine, who cited me for leaving my cart full of trash on the corner of Olive and 9th. Get your shit together and clean up your life. But I sleep on park benches on a newspaper mattress, using the business section as my blanket. I shower at the gym, that's why I smell like citrus. I am the byproduct of inside trades and ill riches, backdoor deals and lost ideals. So let me ask y'all, can I get some change?
Let's get it, bro. Let's get it.
Bless the God. Yeah. Alex Alpharaoh, the superstar in the cut. Killing it. As always, all the time. Kuya, how you living?
I'm chilling, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to get pen click off the ground. Yo, excited for this thing to drop. So, yo, by the time you see this, who knows? It's like, this might be the last episode. This might be the first episode. But just understand that, yo, a lot of work, a lot of pressure, a lot of like love is going into this game, and like, yo, we're excited to get this out.
And what a better representation of that love than our boy, Alex Alpharaoh,
who was on our first dev episode, who has been this is like our day
primordial
one
pen click.
Exactly.
Proto pen click, dog.
Yo, they met like on one of my poetry clashes, my first and only poetry class. Like, I had a little poetry slam on the Prime Poetry YouTube channel. Y'all should check that out. And that's where they met. And yo, like, here we are, like, full circle again, man. Alex Alpharaoh being like the one that binded us together. And it's like, without Alex, there would be no pen click, is what it is.
Word. Getting it. Bless, man. Welcome to the clique.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. It's all love, man. I appreciate both of you cats, because not only do I admire the work that you do, but you know, you guys keep me on my pens and Q's and T's and I's.
Pens
because
and Q's, let's go, bro. Brothers out the gate on deck, bro. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. No, I really appreciate, you know, the love and support. And because you guys are OGs in the game, you guys have been doing this for an eternity and a day, man. You know, so, you know, I like to fuck with cats that understand that it's about levels, but it's about community. It's about reaching out. It's about the love, like what you're saying, Lazaro. It's dope, man. And it's my privilege and my honor to be here, because you guys are giving me a platform that for years I never had. You know, and so for me to be here, you guys are blessing me, not the other way around. You know what I mean? So thank you.
I appreciate you. Hey, let's get into it then. Speaking of that platform, we'll jump right into threads and lines.
This is all first verse. All first verse. You about to get this work.
Threads and line is the part of the show where we're gonna take the piece that Alpharaoh just spit.
We're gonna
get into like some of the threads and lines of that piece. Talk to Alex about some of the life events and struggles, and even lack of struggles sometimes, that inform the piece that we just heard. So Kuya, you got something off the rip?
Yeah, like the first lines, like just the way it sets the tone is like so impressive. what is it? Not decayed enough to be dead. Okay enough to be led out of the hospital bed. It's like within those 3 lines, like, you know where you are or where the guy is. Like, you know, like the setting, you know their condition, you know the situation. It's like how you were able to, with such brevity, to craft like the setting. It's almost as if like maybe this is from personal experience, which is why he's able to dig deep, or is it just like master artistry of the pen, like because you are an actor and a writer and a director, so like I understand like maybe you have that in your skill set that like, oh, you could go from anyone's perspective and write it out, but I also know like you have like a very interesting past, so I was wondering like, can you expand upon like how you got into that mindset and perspective when you wrote this out?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it has a lot to do more with altruism and empathy and being able to, because our collective experience as a whole directly ties us to anyone and everyone. Yeah. So when I look at a homeless person out in the street, you know, I don't look at someone as, oh man, that's a homeless person, you know, let me not look at them. I used to for years when I was ignorant, right. And I'm still ignorant to a lot of things. But now I look at a person and I say, this is the result of society failing. They are the result. Exactly, in that empathy. And so that empathy allows me to put myself in this person's shoes, because I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to go without and to be appreciative, like to have anything and any kind of help and support. And so when I was writing this piece, it was more about making an honest effort to understand the person that is going through that struggle and accepting their pain, even if it's momentarily, because that's where I find the truth of what I do is by allowing myself to become part of that person's journey, as uncomfortable, as painful, as ugly, as scary as it may be. That's where I find the root and the source of their truth when I make it my own.
How much $1 costs, man? That's what's
exactly,
up.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
How much $1 costs, right?
And it hit me on some, like, on a personal tip, because you expound upon that idea, and again, building that scene and that imagery. Yeah. You get into like a semi-fetal position pose, being strolled out in a wheelchair, one size too small, and then you go on to identify County USC, and like I've spent some time in County USC, and it's fucking cracking, dog. Like it's a scary fucking place.
Exposition Boulevard,
and you see that shit, like
the disparity.
That is like a real thing you see in county, like people being wheeled out of county, not ready to leave county. In equipment that fucking barely works, in a wheelchair that doesn't fit them, you know what I'm saying? Like
you go up and down Skid Row, you find a bunch of like just like medical bracelets like all up and down on the gutter, you know what I'm saying?
And being like a Los Angelino, like if you heard that line and you never called out county, we would know exactly what the fuck you were talking about. Right. That shit does not happen at Cedar, you know what I'm saying? Like,
not at all.
That shit is happening at county all day. Every day. And again, building that scene, like that fucking, if you from LA, you know exactly what
which makes me wonder, like for anyone listening and for anyone watching, if you're outside LA, like how that line hits, because we know exactly what you're talking about, because we see it. We see it, and it's like, but I don't know, it just makes me wonder, like what little Myron out in like Valparaiso, Indiana thinks of this. Is like,
and again, like we talked about earlier, building empathy, you know what I'm saying? Like just saying that, and like being a Los Angelino, you know, like what county is, you know what that feels like, you know what like people go through, you know what I'm saying? And I imagine it is a whole different trip if you like, you would never feel this in the same way if you weren't from LA. Like that shit hit you gutturally. Like, oh, I didn't even
put that together until you said it. West, homie.
West.
Yeah.
Hey, but yeah, like on some like how the struggles of homeless people like all across the country. It's just the country, not even in the world, but just the country is like must be vastly different. How like a homeless person in Florida, what they go through, versus a homeless person out in New York, versus a homeless person out in like Wyoming, what they go through. But like yours is like super LA experience. I didn't even think about that, because it's like every line was just hitting for me like, I get that, but I didn't even think about that.
With again collective experience,
fresh coast, bro.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the specificity of the experience, the normative grade experience, which is what we all collectively can experience, right? Poverty is poverty, as you were saying it earlier, is the difference between being broke and being poor, right? Poverty can be experienced in different ways anywhere in the country, but we all know what it's like to feel alone. We all know what it feels like to be unsupported. We all know what it feels like to feel pain, whether it's hunger, whether it's emotional, psychological, physical, right? And I think that when I'm writing, I'm trying to get to that core. I want to be able, through the specificity of something that's very Angelino, like say, County USC, how to find those grains of truth that connect all of us to that experience, whether you're listening to this piece or you're watching it in Mumbai, right? Or if you're in Venezuela, in Caracas, or wherever part in the world where suffering is happening, that's something that will connect us. Even if you're from a upper class family, right? If you're with the Drumps, but if you have a moment of empathy, you can understand what that feels like. You can understand it because there will be a experience that can tie you to that. And that's all we really need.
Everyone struggles. Yeah.
Exactly. Everyone struggles, whether you're rich or poor. We all have to wake up every morning. We all got to get dressed. The sun doesn't shine just for certain people. It shines for everybody. You know what I mean?
And you get that so masterfully. Like the whole like attachment, the way that the emotions throughout the poem, just like it was so very close, like to the heart. Like I felt that all the way throughout. Like when you wrote the line, was missing information on the application. Each question I skipped killed a bit more of my motivation. It's like whether you're undocumented or you have like a felony or this is your first job, so you don't have any employment history, or you're trying to go into a new career and you don't have any relevant work experience
or degree,
education, It's like those three lines, like they hit on so many broad levels, but it works so specifically for the story being told. Right. It was like, that is like so ill. That was ill.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only commentary I can say about that is that, we live in a society where, you need to have identifiers. Identity is everything, right? The identity is what creates individuality. And we strive so much for individuality in society today. And we had a whole discussion about that earlier, that it creates a generality in people, right? And something as simple as having proper identification for someone that doesn't have a home, for someone that doesn't have an address or a car or a job or stability, there's a loss of identity there. And then the paperwork just becomes a reflection of that, or the lack of the paperwork becomes a reflection of the loss of identity. Is the question that I guess I'm trying to pose is how can you remain individualized? How can you be valid? How can you count when you don't have a piece of paper, when you don't have a plastic card that says you are
and
this?
that's a crazy concept. Like we take for granted identification. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially like if you're born here and you just a citizen, you take for granted your fucking ID. For your identification doesn't inform your identity, so to speak, because again, you take it for granted. But if you come here or you make it here, you know what I'm saying?
You're just born in the cuts, like a lot like natives in the reservation life.
Yeah.
All about that hashtag res life. It's like, that's wild that like you could have like a whole 3-4 generations of family that are just not in the books.
Off the grid.
And again, like going back to that like universal concepts, those making this relatable to everybody. We all have identification, whether you do or don't. You know what I'm saying? You are identified as something by somebody,
and you all need it.
Word, and it's something that.
How you gonna get ID if I don't have ID and I need ID?
Word. Moving on off the threads and line and onto the two-piece.
Yes, sir. Two-piece combo.
For the listeners, for the gods, for Alex Alpharaoh here. This is a part of the show where we are going to watch a little video, again, by, AlmonteFilms.
Yeah.
It's a spoken word, like, inside of a short film.
Harlem Round Midnight.
Yeah, so we're going to watch that, and we're going to break that down, and then we're going to get into the little part of the two-piece after that. But first, we're just going to chop this up real quick.
Beat fathers carry bags on their eyes.
Off the rip.
Damn, we're just gonna do it like that.
Off the rip.
Time.
Beat carry bags under their eyes.
All right.
Fuck, dude. Like.
And veins in their hands blink to flush the heat of day.
Shout out to Jazz, always making poetry stronger forever.
It's called like Round About Midnight, so
Yeah,
it
yeah,
also
yeah.
has that. Shout out to
Suitcase
Thelonious.
soldiers off the
Bless them all.
cross-town convoy. COs passing, CO gas hissing.
Fire.
Wordplay as fuck.
Face
What's
of
up?
homeless veterans as the convoy leaves. A loud stench and a sour sight cushion the jagged coasts of K2 Island.
Yo, like we were saying, that double entendre shit.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
up?
of like sour, loud,
See you weed heads.
and then K2, but then like also like how that's pertaining
Cushed.
to the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and
fire.
I mean, and you're looking at how he's playing with the senses, right? A loud stench. A stench is traditionally something that is
Word.
smelled.
Right. Sour
right?
sight.
And a sour sight is usually something that is tasted. But the sight of something that is sour can also be something that you can experience visually. You know what I mean?
Fire.
Like
Yeah.
he's distorting our perceptions with half a bar, man. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
crazy, yo, and that's just a setup. That's not even the punchline, bro.
Yeah.
While half-conscious Coast Guards taste crack cement.
Right there, though. Like, that shit is so hard. That fucking half-conscious
White-
Coast Guard.
While half-conscious Coast Guards taste cracked cement.
Oh, gee. And I love concrete. Like, concrete and cement is my shit.
Yeah,
Like, that's a
facts.
major theme in my work.
Well,
Concrete God.
Oh.
Well, if you even want to go further, right, and I mean, and I'm looking at the symbolism behind it. I
Yeah,
mean,
let's overanalyze this
what
shit.
is
Hell
a,
yeah.
what is a Coast Guard? You know what I mean?
Where? What?
What is-
Especially in New York, G.
Yeah, what is a Coast Guard?
Word.
I mean, let's look at the ocean. If we're talking about dream interpretations, the ocean or water is symbolism for emotions
Yeah,
and
word.
feelings. And a Coast Guard guards the emotions. But if your emotions as a Coast Guard are being tasted by the cracked cement, and if you're taking the crack that's
Yo.
cemented,
Ooh.
right?
Ooh.
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
that.
We getting deep right now. Also, too, like, I just had the realization that, like, we don't have a coast here. We got the beach here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In New York, you have a coast.
Yeah.
There's a coast because it
And
ain't
this is
just
like
a
Harlem around
beach.
midnight. So yeah.
Yeah,
It really
like I'm
speaks
saying
to what he's
exactly.
doing,
Like
yeah.
there's boroughs in New York that are against the water, and there ain't no motherfucking beach nowhere. You know what I'm
Just
saying?
rocks.
Just
Rocks,
the coast.
Yeah.
That's why they got to wear their Timbs on the beach.
Yeah.
on the coast.
We see you with your unlaced Timbs and your fucking sandwich in your brown bag.
Hey,
That beach picnic life. With your 90s fucking puffy ass jacket on because it's cold.
it's brick, B.
Got it at Unique Low.
Hey. We got the Carhartt or the North Face, B.
Pocket full of dreams. Wallet full of nightmares.
Fucks with
So
it.
wallet full of nightmares. It's like, you know, it reminds me of my pops, man. I remember my pops passed when I was 16 years old.
Rest in
and
peace.
and
Bless
thank
God.
you. And the only physical possession of his that I still have is his old wallet.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. And I have his wallet exactly the way he had it when they found him, right? And his wallet has 3 items in it. It has a picture of my sister when she's 6 years old that's glued on to the wallet, an old lottery ticket that didn't win, and a $2 bill.
Damn.
And the nightmares of his wallet, of being hungry, of having children that he couldn't feed, of not being able to pay
Oh,
his
so
bills
that's
on
so that
time.
line of extra hits.
You know
for
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that hits me because I've had those experiences. Like I could pull out my wallet right now and I don't have cash, but I got credit. But my pops didn't have credit. He didn't have
Yeah,
cash. He
word.
didn't have.
That's so real because like my wallet full of nightmares is like, oh, I forgot my credit card at the bar and that was like over in Fullerton, so I gotta drive all the way back to the OC just to get my credit card and close the bill out, and then there's gonna be a $50 extra overnight fee. It's like, oh.
Yeah, word.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like poetry speaks to money, people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to diners that serve wine like that.
Oh yeah.
Healthy eyes, tantalized vibe.
That was a nice little couplet.
Bars, measures by the kilo. Symphonies of car horns.
Can I just say real quick, like, I'm so over. Okay, if you're doing yuck and you ever done yuck, you know what I'm saying? Bless the cocaine god. There ain't nothing around your fucking nose. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no like, oh, they got a little like, I'm eating all that. I'm gonna make sure there ain't nothing around. And I hate that
allegedly,
advice.
like,
I hate that advice.
No
dog.
dry snitch, bro.
I hate that. I don't give a fuck, dog. We about to normalize
God.
everything. Gee, I ain't scared of you. Come find me. But I'm just sick of that device. Like, oh, how are we gonna show he's doing cocaine? We'll just put a little bit of fucking.
On the low.
It's a powder donut.
inaccurate.
It's a powder
so
donut.
inaccurate. Unless you
So-
on that Scarface tip, so inaccurate.
So we've heard.
Orgasms
So we've heard.
Under the bridge of pay for play. Right ear deafened by the call of wives and abandoned children.
Shout out Almonte.
Yep.
I didn't even that left right pan thing. I didn't even get the first time I heard it either. Like the left pan, like on the street, and then the right pan, like the repercussions of what you're doing. Wild.
Y'all listening, you gotta like watch this on YouTube. Shit is fire.
Yeah.
Sons leave while the sun grieves. Another work day to rise once again above the leaves of fathers, beat dead by day, alive by night.
I fucks with that.
He's doing a lot of really interesting setup stuff to get us somewhere. That one didn't really hit me like the other one does. The sun grieves line too. Like, I don't like when people ascribe things to the sun either because it's too easy.
But at the same time, like you were saying, it's a setup. It's not even the punch. But but then like that's there's something to be said that like earlier in the poem, like he has setups that are practically punches. It's like,
word.
So when you're going back to back, it's like that's fire.
Yeah, I just don't like the whole sun thing. Like, all right, we've all heard it. Like, there's another device there.
Well, I was hoping that he was going to do something a little bit more elaborate, as opposed to going, come alive at night.
Yeah,
it was very just he sets it up and then
there's no
delivery, there's no oomph. I mean, because if you think about it, it's like if the son is grieving, why would the son grieve if the son?
Yeah,
has,
exactly.
Like,
that's what I thought too.
Son doesn't give a fuck.
But maybe it's because like he's been out all night, like
right,
and that whole mythology of sun gods and moon gods,
Okay.
So it maybe it alludes to that. Maybe I'm Dalcian reaching yoga flames and all that, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like it might be. And then he also it's still to continue that whole metaphor thread of like rises above the leaves and
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that imagery too of the sun going to work as well. Like that's something. Shouts out to Uggs. Did Uggs die yet?
I hope so.
Your man's still out there.
Some dreams never end. The night sweats faces, sodden in evaporating moonlight.
Y'all nodding. I didn't like that at all.
Evaporated
That closing
moonlight.
line, bro. Like
I fucks with that.
I'm just again like going back to the sun thing. I feel like there's never that big hit that I want, that big satisfying point. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no real point
When you're talking about the sun,
to the whole piece, really. Like,
Okay.
and I get it. You're building like New York imagery, and like this is a poem about being in New York and the struggles of New York and those things. But I feel like it's lacking that one like real concise moment.
well, I think you're right, because in the end, it felt impersonal.
How do I end this?
It started
How do I end this?
very personal to me,
Yeah.
and then as the piece progresses, it becomes more impersonal and maybe that's the writer doing that purposely, because I think that when
Right.
people go to New York, I mean, me having been in New York several times now, people, unless you're a New Yorker, but I'm saying if you come from a different part of the country and you go and you live in New York, there's this sense of inclusiveness, this sense of love, this sense of community that you go and you seek out. And then if you're there long enough, you know what I mean? You become desensitized by it. You become, Jigga has a whole song about it, about somebody slip you an Ambien because it's a city that never sleeps. You know what I mean? And so I think that if that's the intention of the writer, is to create this disconnect from himself as to what it is to be in New York and to be a New Yorker, I think he accomplishes that. But then it also leaves me with this feeling of dissatisfaction that a lot of people that I know that leave New York or that have lived in New York for a period of time and then they come back to their respective homes come back with. They have that sense of dissatisfaction. Like, yeah,
I'm fine with it. I mean, it's a soft landing, but it's a landing. And
I felt like it was just word swag and it wasn't a landing. I felt like it was just like some like, hey, let's get fucking pull something out of the fucking ethereal fucking world of my brain and throw it down.
Right.
And that's the end of my poem. Like, it was poetic. It's definitely like poetry, but it just felt like word swag whenever what I wanted
when you
was
were talking
like
about
some concise boom.
When you were talking about like that boom, that big moment in slam, right? Instead, we want those haymakers, those room
But I'm not
shakers,
saying that
right?
though. I'm not talking about like a big moment where it's like that was a bar line.
Right.
I'm talking about I want some like concise, contextual something. I want something that's gonna like tie this into something, the world, because he's working and we're clearly in a place and we're clearly in this place and we're walking through this place and we're having this experience, and then at the end he's like, oh fuck that experience.
No,
We're just gonna
because
throw that
it's
out the window.
because it's incomplete. I feel like it's wanting you leaving more, and it's leaving you wanting more.
Okay.
And it's like maybe that was the point of it, because like we want like typically stories to tie in together, but when someone's living that kind of life that he's ascribing to, it's like, this shit never ends. It's like an eternal struggle, and maybe that's what that is.
Word.
Far be it from me to say like exactly what it is, what the artist meant, what that meant, but maybe that's what it was. That like,
but
shit never ends.
You know what else too, Kuya, is that, I mean, this is a relatable story for people in LA too, because you have people that come to Hollywood that are searching for that big dream. You know what I mean? And I saw something on the gram the other day that a friend of mine posted. It's like, fame will not complete you.
Yeah.
Right.
Word.
And people come to this town searching for fame, and they end up living that life.
Right.
That, you know what I mean? That after 2-3 years, I've had friends that have moved. It's somewhere as close as Orange County. They live in Los Angeles for a few years, and then they fucking pack their bags and they're out, dude, because this lifestyle is not, this is a marathon, man.
Yeah.
And this is the long-term thing, and people don't get that. They think that they're going to come into this town because they live closer to the Hollywood sign. That means that they're basically in, and that they've made it, and that they're made. But like
they think they're on the
Dre,
stage, but really they just backstage.
well, like what Dre said in a Kendrick's album, he's like, look, man, anybody can make it.
Anybody can make it.
Can get what I have. It's keeping it, maintaining it. That's the challenge.
I thought that was like just Kendrick's voice slowed down.
That's
All
Dre.
right, we'll have to go to the Rap Genius annotations for that one. All right, so out of 10, how would you rate it?
Man, if five is the standard, I'd give it.
5's a C-.
We'll go with that. Yeah.
I'll give it a 6.8.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, all right.
I give it a 6.8. It's not quite. Look, man, a 10 would have to be something that just like it not only.
Right.
I walk out of here with my mind changed, with my heart blossomed.
Not even touching the God number. Not even touching
man,
7.
You can't.
Word.
No, man, I can't give it a 7 because
damn.
Look, it's a great effort. It's a great effort, and it's definitely creative. It has this immense amount of potential.
We'll get into that.
But we talk about the poetry, you know
Right.
The
Facts.
video on the whole,
The video on
fucking 9 all day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, I'm
but
talking
the
about
actual
poetry.
poem,
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it that God number
with a 7.
because I think it's a fucking 7.
All right.
Like boom on the 7. It doesn't like get me there again. If there was more like cohesion within the piece, I think that would have gotten it to like maybe an 8. But there isn't really a cohesion, which I appreciate as well, because we are in this like building New York and the chaos of New York and the chaos, the struggle of life and these things, and there's no cohesion in that. You know what I'm saying either. But it just never really makes a point. It takes you somewhere, and then it leaves your ass there.
Which
and
I'm
then
fine
it
with.
walks away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
allow
it
me
leaves you there.
allow
Here
me
you
my
go.
feels. Like I want that to marinate, bro. It's like, yo,
yeah.
we're gonna bake something afterwards, but chill. Okay, so I like what you mentioned, like with the video and stuff. So here's my thing, like knowing where I come from, right? Like as an art director, and like where I want poetry in the modern era to go, right? Like I was saying earlier, like you don't read a script like a book.
No.
Right?
No.
Because a script is meant to go with a visual.
Word.
And that is a work of art in entirety, the film itself, right?
Yeah, word.
So judging this, because he wrote this to go along with the visual that he shot and directed. So the question is like do we rate the text by itself, or do we rate it by the entire body of work? See, that's my question. And I think
the text, dog.
And I think personally, because of what I'm trying to do, right? I want to make.
He's hit you with those 3 I think.
Yo,
we about to get mad defensive in here.
no. I don't allow y'all. But real talk though is like because that's what I'm trying to do. Like I'm trying to like make these like poetry videos.
Yeah, word.
Like shout out to Motion Poems, who are like one of the top channels on YouTube to do it right now, and they're getting that button poetry push. But Motion Poems, like they got top tier cinematography and like some pretty sharp poems
and
to go
both
with
piece
them.
parts inform each other.
Yeah, and like it's a synergy, it's cohesion together.
Yeah.
It's meant to be taken as a whole, and that's how I'm saying. So at this point, like, God, all right, I'll give it to if it's a slam piece and like someone's going with that, well, of course that's like that's probably like like upper 6s.
Yeah,
I'll give that fair. But if this was like entered like in, and let's say there was like a video, no short film slam. If there was
okay, we're just gonna make up entire things.
Hold up. All right. So Pen Clique presents the poetry short film slam 2018.
Okay.
Yo, we doing it. Fact.
This is gonna win.
Yeah, fact. And this would be like high contender.
Okay, so this is a high contender in the fake imaginary genre of poetry.
But dude, like that's where I personally want poetry to go, because
I feel
we just witnessed the birth. Of a movement.
And no, that's real talk,
right now.
because that's what we're doing now. Like that's what we're doing right now. That's what a lot of us are doing with this tool. Like we were given poetry, we love poetry, and it's like, well, how do I take this into a multimedia world? How do I get this out of the coffee shops and the theaters, and how do I get this on to the internet? And this is the most effective way to do that, I think.
Because like people before they wrote, all they had to do was like oral recitation and pass it down the generation.
Yeah. And that doesn't play on multimedia either, because we have these poetry channels where they are putting out videos and stuff. Bless the gods, all deaf poetry. I see you. Go Google me.
But we're all scrambling how to best represent poetry.
Exactly. If you don't fuck with poetry, you don't want to watch a video of somebody on stage
who's just like looking at the mic the entire time, looking at the camera the entire time, speaking to a mic.
Right.
It's like
you want to watch this essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
New audience draw. This is where it's fucking at.
Yeah.
But again,
you're
giving a lot of merit to the poem right now.
Right. So if
based on this whole thing.
Well, let me put it to you like this. Okay. Let's say that someone is watching the podcast. They're not listening to it. They're watching the podcast, but for one reason or another, you're not able to upload this video to the podcast that they're watching. They got to go based solely on what they're hearing.
Word.
And
not that strong.
And if they're going based on what they're hearing, they have to.
Fair enough.
And they're not allowed to stop. They're not allowed to rewind.
Right.
They just gotta listen to it through. Now,
page poetry versus stage poetry.
Yeah.
Visually, I think that it's great. Because visually, he's telling us a completely different story that does complement the writing.
It's two different things.
It elevates the writing, and as a whole, then that would be a different score for me.
What this does for me is it uses really strong, powerful visuals to make a mediocre poem fire. Instead of taking a fire poem. But there were so many bars, though. Instead of taking a fire poem.
It had hot points.
It's all right. It's a dope poem. It is fucking lit. I like this poem. But this is not a fire poem making a video
7.5.
You got 7.5?
7.5.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
7.5.
I completely agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I was scared you were going to hit me with a 9 right now.
No, but
dog.
But if it was,
you need to get off your hopes and dreams and what you want to do.
Yo, but
the execution's lit.
That's what I want. That's where I want. That's where I see poetry going.
Execution's lit, but the poetry ain't that strong.
Like, can you imagine like one day where like when you're sharing poems via Instagram and is it being Instagram video visuals of all that, not just like a person taking a screen cap of their notes app, but an actual video, like a 30-second clip on and that's their poem piece, and they're sharing it like strictly through social. It's like that's pretty ill.
That's dope.
That's ill.
But you're creating, but basically what you're saying is by giving this 7.5 is that you're creating that standard now. He is the standard for this 7.5. So anything that comes after this cat has to be fire.
Yeah, he doing it.
All right, so that was the first part of the two-piece combo. Move on to the second piece where we pull out the first thing that comes up off hashtag poetry, going to the Instagrams. And we're talking about real poems, not just like pictures of tattoos and saying, yeah, like this is a poetic looking piece of a heart with a arrow through it that says my ex's name in it. Da-da-da. No, poetic merit. All right. But we're talking about actual poems. And our poem comes from at Love and Bruise. Okay. And
Love and Bruise.
Love and Bruise. Love and Bruise. A little edgelordy, but whatever. And the poem goes, Metamorphosis. Her thoughts change just like the shades of Welkin.
Welkin?
Oh, let's look that up. First of all, shout out to Page Poetry where you can like reread, and look up words.
The sky.
The vault of the sky. Firmament.
Say that one more time.
The vault of the sky.
Yeah, I got from Google, the sky or heaven. It's a
Yeah,
literary.
the son of heaven.
Shades.
The celestial abode of God or the gods.
Okay.
Shades of Welkin.
Shades of
I
heaven.
don't know that.
I don't know if that works.
I don't know if that
It
works.
sounds like you just heard a word that sounds really cool in your
Yeah, word.
108 English
And
class.
honestly, like when you find out the definition and it's like heaven or sky, just say heaven or sky. It sounds
Right.
better too. On the real, it sounds
exactly.
better. The shades of heaven. That
Stop
sounds
trying
lit.
to be complicated on purpose.
Yo, Shades of Heaven would be lit.
yeah, shades
And
of
you know
heaven
what?
is
Like very
perfect.
rarely do I use a word that if I'm gonna use a word that I don't use, that I don't speak with, it is for a fucking reason.
And
You
it
know
has
what
to
I'm saying?
make
It
sense.
is for a reason.
You're just trying to swag on them.
Yeah,
Like,
they
that's what
just
we're
trying to
do.
word swag. I know what Welkin means.
So her thoughts change just like the shades of Welkin. The poem called Metamorphosis.
So her thoughts change
just like the shades
just
of
like
heaven.
the shades of the sky, essentially.
Okay.
Just like the shades of heaven,
Just like the heavens.
which
maybe.
is way more effective
right.
than us being like, what the fuck does Welkin mean? Why did you?
So
Why,
First of
girl?
all, people like even though if you knew the word, it's like if it don't land, if it don't land, it don't hit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So off the rip, it's like we have the luxury of rereading because it's a page poem.
Right.
But even after finding out what it means, it's like this could have been said better.
Yeah, word.
And also too,
Word choice matters.
If you think about it, it's if you only had the chance to hear this once or to see it once,
Right.
what is it that you're walking away
Right.
with?
But
What the fuck does Welkin mean?
Yeah,
but
what
this
the fuck
isn't-
is Welkin?
Right, facts. But this isn't a stage poem though. This isn't a stage poem.
Yeah, I
So
feel you.
No, that's true.
We have,
Okay,
we have to
fair
allow
enough.
that. And also,
I still don't know what Welkin means.
good, like great authors, they can use like a word that's not commonly used as long as they bring up the context
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
as
with-
long as there's a clear point,
Right.
and you understand why you're
that
using
implies its meaning. Like, oh, okay.
it. Yeah, exactly.
They have
I'm
a picture of a very colorful sky.
Oh, that just made it even worse. That just made it even worse. So
All right,
that means
God,
okay,
like out of 10, out of 10.
I'm gonna hit it hard right now. I'm gonna say right now you only wrote this poem because you got a calendar, you got a word a day calendar, and Welkin was your word of the day.
Shit.
Yeah.
What?
Welcome was the word of the day on your on your Make Poetry Better app, and they give you, you know what I'm saying, that daily prompt app. So you only found this word Welkin the day you wrote this poem. You have
So-
no idea the context for the word or how to use it.
So they were making a
effectively.
poem out of their poetry magnets on the fridge.
Word.
And
That's too much credit. That's too much creative credit. I'm saying hard up. This is
Out of
on
10.
their word of the day calendar, and
they got the notification. They got the pop-up notification in the morning. Like, welcome.
Yeah, Welkin.
yeah. Your word today is Welkin. Use
Brought
that
to you
and,
by Webster.
I'm gonna say because of that, because of like the first two lines not really saying a whole lot and just being like metamorphosis, change, Welkin, like those are the
and
only
it's a
three.
meme, bro.
Yeah, word. And like there's no like real code. There's nothing really
All right.
going on here.
What we submitting to?
I'm gonna say 3, dog. I'm gonna say 3 because again, like I think sky or heaven would have conveyed the point
Yeah,
you were
facts.
trying to convey.
But even
And
if they
And the
did,
picture is a sky. It's a
I'm saying
beautiful
there's
sky. That's lit,
word.
you know?
There's 2 times you hear like words you don't understand or know, and one of those times you're like, damn, I know what that word means now. Or you're like, what the fuck does that mean? And why did this bougie, pretentious fuck just use it? And that's what I got off this. Like,
Word.
you just trying to word flex.
Go ahead.
You're just trying to, like, I know, Welkin. Like, all right, but you didn't need to. You know what I'm saying? Like, heaven or sky would have been more effective. Because you're not going to give context. So, yeah, I'm going to say dead on a 3. That's a generous 3 because I'm thinking now if I give another number, it's going to be lower.
Let's go.
I'm going to say 3.
All right, Alex the God, out of 10. What you got?
No, I have to follow. I have to follow Chubby Fat, man. I gotta give it a 3. I give it 1 point. I give it 1 point for taking the time to create the meme. I gave it another point for coming up with a cool ass picture because it's a beautiful picture.
Yeah,
and I get it, and I give it another point
Yo,
because
this might be a regram too,
it.
because like,
and if it's a regram, it should probably be a 2.5.
If it's a regram, dog, I'm giving it a 2.
If it's a regram, I gotta drop it a point because it wasn't even something that dude or homegirl created. It was something that they went, oh, that's nice, and then
like I'm gonna pretend like I know what Welkin means too.
Yeah,
and
Welkin. Welkin sounds like Belkin, which is the shit that I use to run my Wi-Fi. Bro.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Welkin sounds like some old bougie white guy that I don't want to fucking chill with. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
That,
Mr.
like,
Wilkins, we have the TPS reports for you.
Yeah. Like, okay, hun, the little brown kid came to the door again today. I don't trust you, Welkin, at all. That's not a name that I trust at all.
Yeah.
All right, I would give it a 1.
Oh, that hurt my feelings, dog.
Because yo, check. So
Damn.
because like it's not even like even if you know what it means, right? Like
Get 'em.
her thoughts change just like the shades of the sky, right?
Yeah.
Like bait, you know, hella
Yeah,
bait.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like wow,
yeah,
you went
yeah,
for
yeah.
the. It's the only way you
Duh.
made it. The only way you made it not obvious was by using a word that's not commonly used.
Yeah, word.
But otherwise, it's like saying like I look so good, I got water getting wet. It's like,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
water gets wet. What?
Yeah.
It's like
Water gets wet.
Yo, this sounds like a fucking like drunk ass freestyle at like 4 a.m. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you're just smacked as fuck.
To your ex's voicemail box.
Yeah, so you're looking for like so you're 12 years old and you're looking for something like kind of deep to like take a screen cap and like send via Snapchat to your girls or to the girl you're trying to propose and like, yo, her thoughts change just like the shades of Welkin. It's like, what up, ma? Da, da, da. And then she just gives you like the red and that's it.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
you don't even see
Happy
like,
face
the
emoji.
typing back. You don't even see the typing back. You don't even get the emoji. You just see
Oh man.
you just see that
You just see that
it
they
was
were
red.
thinking, that they were thinking, and they didn't post anything.
These boot.
One
Did you
for
just say
effort.
Welkin? The fuck is Welkin mean? One for effort.
One for
period.
effort.
One-
Yeah.
Damn.
Straight
All right.
like that.
All right.
Wow, that's the lowest thing we've ever scored on the pen click.
Was it?
I think so. And you know what? You ain't never used the word Welkin. You ain't never gonna use the word Welkin again. I hope you learn your lesson. Because the fuck does that mean?
Stop
And
using
again,
words you don't know.
Sky or heaven sounds better.
Yeah.
Sky or heaven works better. And we
Yeah.
all know what it is. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting extra credit points because you used a word that nobody fucking uses or
Yo,
knows.
you seen the Welkin out there?
Yeah. Hey, that's a beautiful Welkin.
Hashtag Welkin, bro.
The Welkin might rain today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, we see you. We appreciate you, kind of. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Bless the gods. That's the 2-piece. Moving on. Hey, it's almost over, guys. I'm kind of sad. This is
Yeah.
a quick
Yeah.
one. This one feels quick. Time for that 5 for your eye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
The last part of the show, my favorite part of the show, because we talk a lot of shit, but we also flex real fucking hard on the pen click.
Yeah, after
So-
that 3, you gotta come back, bro.
I know,
Yeah,
man.
that's
But you know
it
what?
is.
I'm glad that we did. Oh, my bad. I'm glad that we did the gram because it ties into what I gotta say.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So here
what-
we go.
What were the
Yeah,
5
for-
words, by
yeah,
the way?
For the listener at home, we gave Alpharaoh 5 words. You got them there?
Yeah, I
There we
do.
go.
I
Why
got
don't you-
'em.
Why don't you hit
Yeah.
them with what you got?
All right, so you guys gave me disruptive, capital, frame, adorn, colossal.
Let's
Dope.
get it.
Alex had to write a piece using all 5 words.
Yep.
That's the only rule. That's the only prompt. You got to include all 5 words. Let's get it.
The lust for capital has corrupted our capital. Deception is habitual, causing disruptive disturbances that create turbulence within the deeply divided nation. Lacerations inflicted upon slaves and the conquered natives are reopened through these people's lost descendants. The frame of thought that's pitched is us against them, our land we must defend. Foreigners aren't friends. Coroners please stand by as the bodies die. As they lie and adorn the city streets and the lights illuminate the blood claimed by hate. In the morning, it's washed away by the street cleaner. Hurry up, don't be late. Move your car before 8 or get a ticket and become irate. This is how millions of people go about their dates, completely clueless to what's next, unless they know what's going on and prefer to live as if nothing's wrong, because the policy is, if it isn't happening to me, then I have nothing for which to worry. And if it's happening to you, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Here's a like, a heart, a retweet, a meme. Hopefully that's enough for it to seem as if my thoughts and prayers comment will be enough to deem you as a sympathetic with your pathetic attempt to be empathic while having no idea how hard the path gets, because you've never walked it, you only talked it. You don't change, you got a locked head. Your plight's a phantom, I'll call it Loch Ness. You can't feel my pain if you've never known stress. This colossal mess is not one person's fault or a lone skin tone issue. It's not about he without sin casting stones or forcing snot onto Kleenex tissues. It's about the misuse of power. Sloppy rushed politics feels like the nation snorted powder. We're about to flounder, quickly sinking, going under, and it looks like we'll do it while fighting one another. Now, some may say that my doomsday prediction is premature and misleading, but I would prefer to prevent future harm to anyone from occurring. But I cannot control the visions that I'm having. The writing on the wall is clearly posted in the form of digital post. Hate rallies hosted by Nazis who get punched go to TV and claim, it's not me, I'm not a racist, I'm a nationalist. Well, here's a news flash. A fraction of a whole is still part of the whole, you asshole. Tell me who you kick it with and I'll tell you who you are. A Muslim colored person didn't mow down people with his car. An undocumented person didn't bust open the head of an African American, then afterwards quickly fled. Transgender people didn't march with tiki torches, chanting racial slurs, demanding torture. A black man didn't use tear gas and laughed as he chanted, all niggers must die. A Native American didn't murder Heather Heyer. She didn't die because she had good hair. She died because she was brought up right. Because our country is losing its colossal might when it can't protect the person's goddamn right to speak up against injustice. We gotta do more than just update our statuses.
God for your eye getting it.
Yo.
Oh, Alex, a god. Thank you for being here, G.
Thank you for having me,
that.
man.
Alpharaoh, the god.
Thank you.
Where can they get at you? Where can they find you at?
Social media across the board, man. Alpharaoh. No, Alpharaoh. Everybody misspells it OAH.
Alpharaoh.
Alpharaoh. Yeah, on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Come see my show. It probably already closed by the time this is released. But
you always got a show going.
But I always got a show going.
To go see.
Yeah, so if you hit me up on the social media, you should be able to find me.
Yeah, if there's still time, go see Documented. It's fire. But again, find him on social media, follow him, because anything he doing, you gonna want to go see. Kuya, where can they hit you at?
Y'all know what it is. Pen Clique, y'all can hit us up on Facebook, on Instagram, at Pen Clique, PENCLIQUE. And you can follow me, Kuya David, at all the social medias, at Prime Poetry LG. That's Prime Poetry League. Y'all know what it is. We getting it. And Mr. Chubby Fat God, Daniel Hees, working to get at you.
You can always check out everything we're doing over at Chubby Fat, Blessed Chubby Fat Fame, thechubbyfat.com, at thechubbyfat on Instagram. You can find me at Daniel J. Hees across the board, danieljhees.wordpress.com, danieljhees.bandcamp.com. Go on YouTube.
What else?
Go type in Daniel Hees, watch some videos. Shouts out to everybody. I got a bunch of poetry videos out there. Please, Pete, please tell a friend. We appreciate y'all.
Hell yeah.
We appreciate you, Alex.
Thank you. I
Appreciate you, Kuya.
Hell yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Get it.
All love.
Get it. Share, like, subscribe, tell a friend, do all that fun stuff. We love y'all.
Y'all watch the Pen Clique on YouTube, so y'all know what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, ride, survive.
Thank y'all.
Love y'all.